This customer only wanted to charge his laptop, but it accidentally caused a short circuit. In the darkness, a sudden scream rang out. Right after that came the sound of blood splattering. When the lights finally came back on, everyone saw a man lying on the floor with a knife in his back, barely clinging to life. Heiji Hattori figured that since blood had splattered everywhere, the killer's hands should also be stained with blood. But strangely enough, after checking everyone's hands, not a single person matched that condition. Heiji was a little annoyed. He had originally planned to confess his feelings to Kazuha today, but instead he ran into another case. Soon, the police arrived at the scene. They discovered that the laptop plug had been wrapped with iron wire, which was what caused the short circuit. The stabbed man was named Tengu. He had always had a bad reputation. Because his father was a high-ranking official, he was extremely arrogant and often caused trouble. Based on where everyone had been sitting at the time, the most suspicious people were Nagatsuka and Yamashita, who were seated next to him. As for Maisuke, he was the first person to arrive at the cafe, and afterward he had been in the restroom the whole time without coming out. Amuro Turu could confirm this. Although there was a peephole on the restroom door, it was made of frosted glass, so it was impossible to clearly see what was happening outside. Therefore, he couldn't have confirmed in advance where the victim was sitting. Such a clear and logical analysis made Heiji somewhat interested in Amuro Turu. Conan then told him that Amuro Turu was one of Muri's students. At the same time, the police searched everyone's belongings, but didn't find anything suspicious. Could the killer have come from outside? Definitely not. Wada Seiichi said that after hearing the scream, he had been guarding the entrance the entire time, and hadn't seen anyone leave. However, a few lines of poetry he casually recited unexpectedly gave everyone a crucial hint. The moment they heard this, several people immediately understood. The killer was Maisuke, who had been in the restroom. Frosted glass is hard to see through because its surface is covered with tiny textures. When light passes through it, diffuse reflection occurs, which makes the image appear blurry. But if the killer simply placed a layer of transparent tape over the frosted glass on the restroom door, the glass would become more transparent, allowing him to clearly see what was happening outside. And that transparent tape was exactly the piece used on the birthday gift wrapping. Afterward, he only needed to quietly put it back, and no one would notice. To make sure the attack succeeded, the killer had even recreated an environment similar to the cafe at home, repeatedly practicing how to stab the target accurately in complete darkness. To attack from behind, he had arrived at the cafe early, and placed his bag on the sofa. His girlfriend would naturally sit next to him. That way, the victim could only sit in the seat directly across from them. As for the blood on his hands, he had already planned a solution. All he needed to do was wrap his arm with layers of toilet paper, and slide the cardboard tube from a toilet paper roll over the front of the knife. After stabbing the victim, he pressed against the cardboard tube while pulling the knife out, so the blood wouldn't splash onto himself. Only someone standing in front of the tube would be hit by the blood. Then, during the blackout, he returned to the restroom to flush away the blood-stained toilet paper, put the cardboard tube back onto the roll, peeled off the transparent tape from the peephole, and finally walked out of the restroom as if nothing had happened. As for the evidence, it was left on the toilet paper roll that had been reassembled. It contained both his fingerprints and the victim's blood. With the evidence right in front of him, Maisuke could no longer deny it, and finally confessed to his crime. He couldn't stand how close his girlfriend was to Tengu, and suspected that the two of them had dated before. But the truth was, Tengu and Yamashita were actually half-siblings, sharing the same father. If that secret were exposed, it would become a massive scandal for their father, who was a politician. Just then, Maisuke received a phone call. The caller turned out to be Tengu, the very man who had just been attacked. It turned out that Tengu had originally planned to reveal this secret in a birthday video. Unfortunately, by the time the killer learned the truth, it was already too late. Fortunately, Tengu forgave him.